Hello, this will be a video to cover the conflict between ant life and intelligence, although it will include other games that revolve around this idea. This video will specifically focus on Antelligence. It will cover the recent copyright strike, and along other stuff concerning such. To start on, the hatred Telegram has for Antelligence have started in the day Antelligence have first begun. Although not as deep as it would be in the following years to come, looking deeper to first mentions of Antelligence, there seems to allegedly have happened a raid instigated by AMP, a prominent member in the Antelligence Discord. We can see an evident rivalry between ant life and Antelligence. Telegram seems to envy some parts of Antelligence. He justifies Antelligence's successes to having a mobile feature. Antelligence also seems to have surpassed ant life in terms of player count at some point, making Telegram and some ant life members even more envious of it. There is also mentions of ant life prohibiting the mention of Antelligence and such, literally 1984. Telegram also seemed to have joined the Antelligence Discord server at some point, and is said to have said controversial things in it. This seems to be already covered by this random burner account. I will leave his video in the description. A few days before the copyright, there is a post of Telegram showing that he got his game to be counted as an intellectual property. He goes on, writing this paragraph in which I will refute later. Pause if you want to read. Antelligence and other colony games alike was targeted, although Antelligence V1 lived longer than the others. Now, to the refuting part.
Telegram claims that Antelligence and the other games copied the expression of how an ant game would be like, which seems to be the thing many fellow Antelligents do not recognize, as they merely assert the same claim that just because it's an ant game it wouldn't fall under copyright. Although you can copyright the way an idea is expressed, the situation of ant life is more complicated, as one can argue that the idea expressed by ant life isn't specific enough to begin with. First off, Telegram claims that the idea expressed here is that 3 ant colonies fight each other with spider and spiderlings. Telegram assumes these aren't concepts but more so a justified way of expressing how an ant game should be like. This is however too broad. A person who wants to make an ant colony sandbox game, assuming all players are to be ants, would plausibly make 3 colonies, as if it was 2. The game wouldn't be as fun as there isn't a lot to do as ants besides a primordial building system. Telegram also asserts that these games stole the colors of ants. This can be obviously invalidated by bringing up the fact that these are merely the colors that ants commonly pose IRL. They also assert that heavy bite, water blocks, and the concept of spiderlings is theirs. But heavy bite is a common mechanic. Water block is beneficiary to the game, and can be the absolute determiner for it sometimes, as some colonies live above the sky and would need drones to bring water blocks in order to not die of thirst. Spiderlings, they do sort of have a point, but the way they were implemented in the game is in no way parallel. They also love to point out that a real adult person have accepted this copyright. This doesn't conforming to authority doesn't validate anything, however, as said team could have done a misdoing. What Telegram have asserted to be validation of copyright is still a concept. To say that 3 colony fight, spider and themselves, is a copyrightable concept is absurd, as anyone that would know the way ants function would make them a colony. And had they made these colonies player controllable, unless the workers and such were to be NPCs, would indubitably make a game similar to ant life's. I argue that ant life isn't an intellectual property, but more so a genre. When a game gets an intellectual property, it is more so about the assets and such rather than the concept. So, thus, I have formed the Ant Life Resistance Legion. Anyone is free to join and the link for it will be under the description. For anyone that wants to argue against the claims I have made, my Discord tag will also be in the description.